Hey, what's up everybody? This is OurMusicBox501 and today I want to show you guys a Moze build that is specifically built to be able to kill all bosses extremely quickly. And this build is using one of the new DLC 1 weapons, which I think is now one of the strongest boss killing builds in the game. So let's go straight into the talents. So the talents for this build are going to be pretty similar to some builds I've done in the past because we are using a Torgue weapon with gyro jets. So we're wanting to get as many gyro jets stuck to the target before they all go off to get just massive burst damage. So first we're going into bottomless mags. 5 out of 5 cloud of lead. Every 4th shot doesn't consume ammo, does extra incendiary damage. Stoke the embers, 30% increase incendiary damage, which all of our damage does incendiary damage to some extent. Redistribution, when you crit, you gain some of your magazine back over 3 seconds. This one is, I guess, interchangeable depending on how you feel about using this weapon. The weapon we're using, you can't shoot quickly, so it does have some pretty high recoil. So that's why I got Scrappy, so you can have the handling increase. It does help quite a bit to be able to constantly hit those crit spots. Scorching RPMs, fire rate, critical damage, iron bear damage, all good damage increases. 1 into iron bank, just to get lower in the tree, some extra magazine size. Then some for the road, which is our main talent for the build. After you exit your iron bear, you have 5 seconds of infinite ammo, which is the main burst of the build to be able to shoot all those gyro jets super quickly for unlimited ammo for 5 seconds. Then reload or switch weapons and blow them all up. So you're getting that massive damage stacking. For our Iron Bear, we are using Auto Bear, so the weapons you choose are actually useful for damage. So we're using miniguns with the exploding bullets augment. This, in my opinion, is one of the strongest setups just for Iron Bear damage. And with Auto Bear shooting, it actually does quite a bit of damage. You'll notice the Iron Bear just like chunking targets while it's out because it does so much damage with this. And since we are going into different explosive damage increases, your Auto Bear doing explosive damage just gets more stacking damage on top of that. Then we have Demolition Woman. Fire in the Skag Den just adds bonus incendiary damage on all splash damage, which is everything we're dealing. So that's a massive damage increase. 2 into Grizzled. Kill skill, it reduces your action skill cooldown time when you kill something. This can be good if you're on fights that have immunity phases that also have ads. So something like Tyrena Destroyer has ads in between immunity phases, or just any other targets or any other bosses that have ads. So you could kill them in between when they have their immunities up, so you can't damage them anyway, to get your Iron Bear back much quicker because that's the majority of your damage and burst. Means of Destruction. If you don't know on Torgue weapons, when you're in sticky mode, which is what we're using, it still is considered the initial hits, even before the stickies explode, to be splash damage. So this will proc Means of Destruction. Your Iron Bear can also proc Means of Destruction for you. So when you're shooting as many gyro jets on the target as you can, even after the 5 seconds of infinite ammo, you can still keep getting ammo back from Means of Destruction. 5 into Stainless Steel Bear, mainly just for the damage increase because nothing else is going to give us a damage increase here, and our Iron Bear doing more damage will actually help us. Then 1 into Auto Bear, so when we hop out of our mech, our Auto Bear is doing a ton of damage for 15 seconds. Then we're going into Shield of Retribution, just armored infantry for some damage when at max shields and damage reduction, then max shields and shock damage resistance for some tankiness. Mainly we went to this tree though for experimental munitions, which is critical hit. They deal bonus incendiary damage, which you're going to want to be hitting crits as much as possible, and then just getting more damage on top of all the stacking damage increases we're getting from our gyro jets. It'll just be a ton more damage on top of all of that, especially since it's fire damage or incendiary damage, and we do have Stoke the Embers, so that's just more damage stacked on top of that. So now we can go into the gear. So the weapon we are using for this build is one of the new DLC weapons, and it's something I was wanting to try ever since I did the videos going over this weapon before the DLC came out, and it's the Craps. Now this is a Torgue weapon that does have the gyro jet sticky increased damage. Now, if you don't know, on Torgue weapons have anointed, it doesn't show you the percentage of damage increase that gyro jets get when having them stuck to the target. Most of the ones I've seen of Craps roll 7% increase for each one. I'm not certain if they can roll higher than that. I think I may have seen one lower, but most of the ones I've seen are 7% damage increase. The anointeds on these, I don't even know. I'm pretty sure this specific anointed and the ones that say they last for a short time last for like 8 seconds or something like that. So I don't actually know if this will do a ton. It will help when we're just shooting the initial shots, but that doesn't do a ton of damage. So the anointed is not that important on the weapon itself, unless you can get the one which I haven't gotten, which is on when you get out of Iron Bear, you gain 125% increased splash damage for 18 seconds. That's going to last your entire burst every time. So if you can get that, that'll be a really big damage increase, actually, because it will actually get that increased damage all the time. Also, these can come in, I think, every element. I've seen like 3 of the element rolls, but I haven't gotten any good rolls with this weapon. I've been pretty unlucky. It is from the last boss of the DLC if you want to farm it, but I've gotten unlucky getting it. This is a decent roll, but you can get different elements. But it is nice that I can use one without any elements, so just kinetic. So you guys can see what just the like base could do, but then you can also get the different elements to get massive damage increases against whatever bosses you're fighting. Now, the secondary weapon we're using is Trick Unforgiven. Now, you would crit swap with this. So basically what you would do is you would get in your Iron Bear, hop out, shoot your Craps for that whole 5 seconds, keep shooting till I usually wait till 1 to 2 rounds are left, then switch to the Trick Unforgiven, and right when you switch, it will consider you reloading, I guess, and that'll trigger all the Torgue stickies to start blowing up. So you're not reloading your Craps and then wasting gyro jets without the critical hit damage increase, which is massive. 432% is the highest it can roll for a Trick Unforgiven. And when you're on something you can hit a lot of crits on, Captain Tron, Grave Ward, anything like that where you can hit a lot of crits, switching to this, it's going to do so much damage. Now, for the Shield and Grenade, again, this is pretty much just whatever on actions to go end element for 10 seconds you can do. Now, if you wait past 10 seconds before you blow up your Craps rounds, which is hard to time because there's no buff showing these effects, if you wait, say, 11 seconds after and then blow up your rounds, it won't snapshot the increased elemental damage. So if I'm shooting, that's just doing fire damage and kinetic damage. But if I get in my Iron Bear and then get out, now it's dealing the elemental damage from my shield and grenade mods anointed. But if I wait all of that time, it will be somewhat similar, but if I wait all of that time, as you can see, it didn't do the corrosive damage there. So it blew up itself, but it didn't do the corrosive damage from my shield because it doesn't snapshot. So if you get good at timing it, you can just shoot for like 9 seconds. You shoot your Craps rounds for 9 seconds, switch to your Unforgiven 8-9 seconds, and then you'll get 100% damage increase for a bunch of the explosions. It's really hard to time. So past that, these aren't super required because probably even a lot of the footage in this video of me killing bosses, I probably won't be getting the damage increases from these all the time. So it's not super important, but if you're good at timing and if you get better at timing with these, you can get some good damage increases from them. It's mainly just whatever element that's good against whatever you're fighting. You can use a shield that's an amp shield, but I don't think it's going to do that much because it's just the initial hits of your Craps that don't do much damage at all anyway. So for our class mod, we are using the Blastmaster, which the longer you go without reloading, the more splash damage she deals, up to 100%. Now, I have no idea how this works, if this works with this weapon. So the reason is I have no idea how to test this. It'd be extremely hard to test it with a sticky weapon like this. But there's a possibility that it works this way. If you just shoot a bunch, then switch, there's a possibility that it's not considering this to be reloading. So you're getting the damage increase, but I don't actually know if that's a fact at all. I don't know of a way to test this with a sticky weapon and doing it like this. Because of just the damage differences and stuff, maybe I'll be able to find a way to do it more, no talents, all that stuff. But right now, I'm not exactly sure. The main reason I'm using this, past me just theorizing that it works, is this is a really well-rolled class mod, has 25% weapon damage, 28% splash damage. That's pretty much why I'm using it. I think it might work, the actual Blastmaster effect, but I'm not certain on that, so don't take that as a fact that it works. For the artifact, I mainly just did what rolled well. On this one, area effect, damage, magazine size both help. There's not really any other effect for artifacts that's really going to increase your damage a lot. So pretty much just use whatever you want, whatever is a good secondary roll. And that's pretty much the entire build. Now I want to actually show you guys how much damage this can just deal against this target and how many stickies you can put on the target. And this is how you do a boss. So you'd get into your mech, you'd pop out, and then you would just shoot as much as you possibly could. Now, you'll see when I reload or switch my trick on Forgiven that there are so many explosions. There's so many explosions. As you're seeing, those are all hundreds of thousands of damage. And you can even do more than that because of how this weapon works. It randomly has a chance to shoot 5. So you could potentially get a massive increase in the amount of stickies you're actually sticking to the target. And just trying to shoot as fast as you possibly can. So as you can see there, that is a lot of explosions, and depending on how many extra shots you get, how many 5 shots you get compared to the 1s, you can have a massive damage increase, but it's still super consistent on how easily it destroys bosses, even without doing anything. Just shooting this guy in the face right here, that's doing hundreds of thousands of damage like per explosion. So it's a massive burst damage. Pretty much any boss without an immunity phases, you should be able to either just kill after your infinite ammo and you switch your trick on Forgiven, or come pretty close to it. Bosses with immunity, you still should be able to destroy them every time their immunity's up. You should be able to just destroy them with a bunch of gyro jets and get to the next immunity phase very quickly. So that's the entire build. Subscribe if you want to see more Borderlands 3 content. Leave a like if you liked the video. Leave a comment down below what you guys think about this build. If you guys have any questions about where to get any of these items, anything, how the build works, anything like that, leave it in the comments. I'll try to reply to everybody. And thanks for watching.